Hello, I'm Amber.
I'm Tony.
And we are Tune to the Moon. And you might notice today we are joined by some wonderful guests. We've got Yvonne and David, otherwise known as the Scottish Ghost Company. Hello.
So excited.
We are actually buzzing. You are our first guests.
Nice. Yeah.
So we thought... ever. Because we thought we've been doing this a few months now, and then we were like, nah, let's take a few weeks off. Let's think about this and let's give the people what they want and get on some really, really good guests and people that align with us and people that we just bloody love. So I'm so excited.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, we had to start with you guys. 100%.
Spooky ones.
The spooky ones.
And honestly, I think it's something that people might say, oh, I'm not really that into it, I don't really believe in, and see if you start watching one of your videos, you're just like...
You're hooked.
You're hooked.
Yeah.
They're so good. So let's just, for anybody who might not know, because I know some people might have clicked on the link through you guys and some people might have clicked through us. I'm not sure what you do. So just tell us in basic form, what is it that you two actually do? Because I love it.
Right. Okay. So... myself, I'm a paranormal investigator and I'm the other half of the Scottish Ghost Company. David, you're your half. And David is the medium.
Yes, I'm a medium. So we do paranormal investigations, house clearances, ghost events. I've been doing it for 20 odd years. And Yvonne and I started the Scottish Ghost Company during the first lockdown in 2020.
Yeah.
Purely because we had a really, really good team, and to keep everybody together, because we know we work so well together, we set up on our own during that time, and it's just took off since then.
So you go and visit loads of different places, different sites from like graveyards to old houses across mainly the central belt and the west of Scotland. Kind of, have you gone all over Scotland? All over Scotland?
All over
Northern England.
And Northern England as
wow.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So we've done Newsham Park Asylum in Liverpool, and we've done a few times. We've done events at 30 East Drive, which is like
Pontefract.
in Pontefract,
I
which
think I've
is
seen that one.
the most haunted
haunted,
house
yeah.
in the UK.
What goes on there?
Everything.
Have you ever seen the film
Everything.
When the Lights Go Out?
No, I actually, despite being into all this stuff, hate horror movies. Hate horror
She's
movies.
too scared.
I'm too scared, but I'm so interested. Like, I want to come out with you guys and see what happens. But I'm bloody terrified. Like, even the mirror in Snow White, I'm like, get that off. That's so scary.
She come with us probably up to the barras, maybe.
Yeah. It's not as scary as you think it's going to be. Everybody thinks it's going to be terrifying. They're going to get dragged along the ceiling and all that kind of stuff, and that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Actually, I'm like, genuinely, I'm so interested, and it's mainly like, I want to know these people's stories, you know.
Yeah.
That's the same as
Well,
us.
that's the same as us, because we're extremely nosy people.
Aye,
And we're
me too.
gabbers.
But it's also, I think it is just that element of, because I never ever watch your videos when I'm on my own doing the show, because I do my radio shows at night, and I already hear loads and loads going on. I've spoken about this in the pod before, but loads happens in that Clyde 1 building. You need to come along. We're moving into the city centre, so see, before we move, you need to come to Clyde 1 and Clyde Bank, because
Sounds good. That sounds right up our street.
I'm not kidding, right? It's where like the old singer sewing factory was, and I'm always hearing people running, doors banging, and it's always being rubbished. I'm not being funny, right? But people are like, what you like? It's security.
It's
And I'm
because
like,
you joke about it as well on my wee Caspers.
yeah, I just say that Caspers, because I know that I just feel like they're friendly.
Yeah, they
But I will actually sometimes shout, like, please, can you just be quiet? I can't get anything done. All I can hear is you banging doors. I would love, not for the proof element, kind of for the proof element,
To see who it is.
I would
A
just
bit of
love to see who it
validation.
is. A bit of validation. So yeah, that's kind of going back to, I never watch your videos on my own out of the fear, because I'm just terrified that
You're a
I'll be
big shite
spooky
bag.
post. I'm a big shite bag.
I think a lot of people get frightened of the voices as well from the spirit boxes.
Yeah, because they sound funny,
So-
don't they, as well?
Yeah, when
like,
you're on live, you get a lot of people commenting saying, I claim no negativity and
Oh,
all that kind
really?
of stuff. Yeah.
What about, did you see the video with the Glaswegian ghost who goes,
You're
all
shouting,
right.
all right, I know. I know.
So
That's
we
so
actually,
funny.
what is this spirit box? Because I've seen it used before in like TV shows and things. Is it like is picking up frequency? Is it? How does it pick up words?
We use a lot, we get asked, that's probably the most common question we get
Yeah.
asked is what spirit boxes we use. And to be honest, we don't stick to one. We've got our own custom built ones. One of our crew builds ours. I don't know what software's in it. But the other ones that we use, when David and I are out on our own at weekends, if it's just the two of us, we just take an app with us. And the one our go-to mainly is one called the Necrophonic,
Yeah.
which is what you're hearing on the videos, probably on TikTok and Facebook. On our events, we use different ones. And one maybe scans the radio frequencies and one's an app, so it's got built-in words like a word bank. And the theory behind it is that spirit pick out those words to speak to us. But interestingly, when we went to Romania, to Bran Castle, we used a spirit box and we got Romanian, we got French, and we also got English words too.
That's crazy.
And when we're up the barras, we get Irish accents, we get broad Scottish, we also get Doric. And one of our crew speaks Doric, so unbeknown to us, Doris, we think that one of the spirits was speaking Doric to us, and he was translating, wasn't he, that night? It was really, really interesting. So people dismiss it and say, oh, it's not real, it's not this, it's not that. That's absolutely fine, but how do you explain the accents that are coming through, particularly the really broad Scottish ones in Scotland and the Romanian ones in Romania?
No
a
spirit
word
box
bank.
on the market that anybody uses is programmed with accents. They're bog standard Alexa voices that are in them. So this is the thing that we can't figure out is why we get the accents through if there's not a genuine spirit communication there. They're manipulating the software so much that they're actually projecting their own voice, their own accent.
So obviously they can just tell that you two are sound and they're like, I want to just be my authentic spirit
Self.
self.
Thank you.
Right, all
All
right.
right, all right. And you get like, I'm allowed to say this, but the other one that went viral and ended up on radio and everywhere else was in this spirit called David a Ball Bag. Twice it's called you. You or Ronnie, that I don't know who it was that night. So that's a really Scottish thing to say. And then when it went
Even
viral
in
all around the world,
I
see when
know.
it went viral, they changed it to ball bag, didn't they?
Shut
Which
up.
didn't
No, they
make
didn't.
sense to
That was
to
like
us,
the
but-
Chinese news outlets when they in the translation they changed it to ball bag and then in brackets the male scrotum. We were like, what?
So
Oh, that's brilliant.
yeah, so that's the spirit boxes. Other ones, as I say, are run up FM and AM channels, and now and again you get some good responses from that. But the ones that we tend to use that you're watching on the videos are an app.
Okay.
Because we don't film our public events because people have paid good money for a ticket.
Yeah.
And keep that for them, they've paid the money
Yeah,
for
that's
that
their
event.
experience.
That's their
I really like that. I
experience.
think
that's
So
that's
that's not
really
nice. It's not
We're the only
fair.
ones that do that because
Because you're not fame hungry.
Yes. No.
Basically.
Yeah,
Doing
I'm
it for the
sorry.
right reasons.
Yeah, you're doing it for the right
Yeah.
reasons. Well, you can tell that. Like,
Yeah.
you're a paranormal investigator and you're a medium. It's not like you're just saying, oh, I quite fancy, give me 3 knocks if
Let's
you're
go and
here.
make a TikTok.
Like, you're actually genuinely really, really wanting to find out the stories behind these spirits
absolutely.
and these
And
places.
doing it for the right reasons.
Doing it for the right reasons.
No. And the rest of the crew, there's 18 in total. They're just the same as us.
I didn't know that. I did not
Yeah.
know there was that many people.
Most of them are on the website. There's just a couple to be updated, but they're always passionate and they're really, really good. And they've stuck by us and they're brilliant. But they do the public events with us. It's too cold just now for anyone else to come out the weekends apart from us too.
Because you were saying just before we started filming, you were saying some of the TikToks, the videos that you do, you can be out for like 6-7 hours and people are just seeing a few minutes
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
experience. You know what I mean? That is graft.
Yep,
That's
that
when
is.
you know
It's
you're doing
hard.
it for
It's
the
Ju-
right
but
reason.
just when you were talking there, I remembered we were out Boxing Day 4 years ago or something, and it was -3, and we were on alive, and like all you could see was breath, and we had to pack up after like 45 minutes because all the kit was starting to freeze when we were outside. So
No.
Dedicated.
These are dedicated. That's the word
And even
that
the
came to
ones in
mind
the
there.
public events that people have paid, their good money to come. It's 6 hours. You're working really hard. I don't think people realise how hard it is, one, to host it, to run it, and then the crew that are working really hard in each area, because there's 3 different areas and, they're all doing different things. One could be doing a Ouija board, one could be doing tech stuff, one could be doing something else. Those leaders that are in those groups are working really hard. They can't guarantee that there's going to be a spirit come forward, but they try their hardest, and it's quite draining. By the
was gonna say,
Sunday,
the energy.
we all
Yeah.
have like
So
we
it's
call
like
a
they
paranormal
call
hangover.
it a paranormal hangover, and it's like you can have it. For me, I get them for 2 or 3 days, but that's only because
No,
I'm doing
I can
mediumship.
imagine
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The other guys
Draining.
are like a day.
Drained your
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
I also just love the fact that like companies will have, like HR, and you've got like head of Ouija boards. I love that. Like head medium, head of Ouija
Yeah.
boards.
No,
And-
people do not know the amount that goes
No.
into
No.
what you're doing.
No,
See,
especially
also-
like when you're working with energy, it's like
yeah.
Totally, you'll know that as well, of
Yeah, I
course.
used to do floor shows and like that. I would be
I'm
in my
exactly
bed
the
for
same.
days
Drained,
after
you really
that.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Or
drained for
ill
days.
sometimes.
yeah, definitely.
That's what you're like, isn't it? Sometimes you don't
Yeah,
see them or hear
depending
from
on
them
what you're
for
working
days.
with.
And I'm out the game for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Totally.
No.
Shut the
it's
blinds, lock
so
the door.
much.
That's me. Fine.
See, just going back to the box, when would it be that you would use that for anybody who's maybe not seen any videos? Do you ask a specific question, or would you? So how would you know like when to use the box, when to use a Ouija board, or is it just trying to use all of these different tools at different times?
Again, if it's just David and I that are out, we start off with just introducing ourselves, who we are, and we've usually got a couple of torches that you see lying out and some simple kind of what they're called trigger objects. If we don't get any response from them, or not much, but David has already said that there are spirits there, then we maybe move on to the box and see if they'll speak. Maybe it's easier for them to speak than using the objects that we've brought.
I was just watching one before you guys came in that you had just posted, I think.
From this morning's
Yeah.
one, from
Today's
the
one.
Ammon Castle.
Yes.
And you had used it then,
Yeah.
like, because you couldn't get access to the building
Nope,
either,
we've done it
obviously. So you
outside.
had just sat that there. And
Those bells, there
was
was no
crazy.
explanation for the bells. We'd left an EVP recorder sitting on the window of this castle. Now, the castle's no way into this castle. It's not got a roof, but it's all barred, like windows and things. And we left the EVP recorder to record any voices. And when we played it back, we did hear some at the time, but we played it back. It's like the old, what they're called, David,
like
the
the
servant bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them ringing in the end, and it's fascinating what that picks up. Doesn't always pick things up,
But
but
that
it
castle's
does.
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't even hear the cars. It's like so quiet.
And that's a
But
class
I feel
one.
like I don't know if you just naturally do this, but like you shouldn't have to justify that.
No.
That way, like
I know.
we
Yeah.
are, and I know what it's like with a lot of you put things online, and people will always have an opinion, which is fine, but you must find it difficult with people trying to rubbish things, because I know, Tony, you've had that before, and
Oh, yeah.
it's this kind of field of I'm more just like interested, and I'll ask all the questions, but for you guys actually working
In it.
in it,
Yeah.
it must actually be draining sometimes,
Yeah.
because people
It's
do
really
love-
frustrating because when you see, I tried really hard not to look at the comments, because in my view, as a medium, when I'm looking at comments on TikTok in my home, my safe space,
Yeah.
I'm engaging with
Yeah.
those negative comments.
Yeah.
But if I ever do see one and somebody says, "Oh, what a load of rubbish that is," usually I'll reply saying, "Do people really think I'm going to get in my car and drive for 2 hours and stand out in the cold for 6 hours and then drive home again
For
to
rubbish.
waste my time for nothing to make it up?"
I know.
No,
Yeah.
I really can't be bothered.
Just for
Sorry.
followers and likes doesn't
know.
matter. Do you know? That's not why we do it.
No.
I think when you believe in it so much as well, though, this is my struggle with it, and
Yeah.
why that kind of proven energy probably comes up,
I know,
because
at the risk of
you
sounding
know,
arrogant,
you know it's true.
You
Like,
know.
you're there, you feel
I
it,
know.
you see it, you hear it, whatever way you're working, and you do want to.
And then you've got wee Betty who's sitting in the living room watching a 3-minute video. Oh, that's rubbish. And
Aye.
you're like, really?
I know.
You weren't there.
It's hard.
Uh-huh.
Also,
isn't
wouldn't be
it?
rubbish if we bet all of a sudden started hearing footsteps and servant bells in our house. She'd be like, that.
Be getting you out for a house
Exactly.
clearing. I
Go
know.
out and see who's here. Just be careful what you comment. You never know. You never know who might come in on you.
You
gonna
just
need
don't
you.
know.
But do you think it's important if you're going out to investigate these particular, lives and stories that you do have a medium there? So, someone who can connect with spirit. Because I feel like, and I'm just going back to the kind of the Ouija board thing, a lot of people play
Yeah,
with it
play
when they're
with
younger.
it,
Or
yeah.
what if people do think, I'm going to go out, I'm going to film, I'm going to take a Ouija board and see what I can see. And they've actually not worked on and developed their
They don't
ability
know what
to
they're doing,
connect
basically.
with
They
spirit.
don't know what they're doing with a board.
Okay, well, the Ouija board, as you know, is this huge big hoo-ha about it. We do use it on our events. We use a Ouija board, communication board, angel board. We've got a really nice one, and it's a nice angelic one. You can, it's got wings, the planchett's got wings and things. But we're all trained in how to open it, how to close it, and how to use it. So we don't use it on events unless one of our crew are using it, and they'll be with you. They're not on it as such, but they're with the guests when they use
Guiding
it.
Yeah.
Just in case anything, should happen. Not for 1 minute am I saying use one on your own or use it in your house. Mine's are kept in my garage. They do come into the house occasionally, but I certainly wouldn't be going about doing a Ouija board at home. But the thing that annoys us is all these things are like portals, so you're inviting spirit. Whether I'm asking that candle to blow out or not, you're still inviting spirit to come forward. It's the same with the board. You're asking them to come and move the planchette to yes,
Yep.
no, or whatever. So people, just due to the whole media thing, the whole hype about
Yeah.
these films.
Don't use a
and
board
It's
because it's
film,
going to
doesn't
open
it?
a portal to hell.
We're not saying
no, it
it
doesn't.
can't. We're not saying it can, but if you're using
Yeah.
it properly, people misuse
Yeah.
it. I think that's
People
my
that don't know
opinion.
what they're
It's
doing, so
important to have someone who knows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
What
just
they're
my
doing.
opinion. Yeah.
So do you will then tend to ask the spirit questions, who they are and where they came from, and do you ever pick up on any kind of, because we've talked about past lives and stuff a lot, do you
Yeah.
pick up on like the life that they might have had? Do you pick up on the energies when you're there? And
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the best one for that is actually the Barras, because it's been a continuous.
Tony loves the Barras
Going
series.
over
Barras,
I
I'm
know I keep referring
excited.
back to that, but there's so much of a story to
Yeah.
the spirits that we speak to in the Barras, and we're finding out more and more what happened to them.
Yes.
And historically, it's correct, because we've had people
Relatives.
contact us and say
Oh,
that's my
Relatives of the
grandmother's.
Oh my god,
who
that's
are on
amazing.
the,
It's actually
on the
giving me
video coming
shivers.
through speaking. We've had relatives of the
I get
people.
showers as well.
Yeah.
One particular cafe, which I won't mention, a relative came forward to say that was my family's, and you're right. What was said was right. Now, we didn't know that. We went in there blind as
Yeah, you're
such,
just-
and was just asking
So
questions.
what made you
Checking
first
what
go into
comes.
to the Barras? And
It's a long story. It's a strange story how you're meant to meet someone. So
A lot to do
from
with
I
fate
love
and-
all that.
so for
Synchronicities.
Love
for
it.
my Christmas, my daughter and my son gave me a voucher for a welded bracelet.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Right, so myself, my daughter and my mum went up to the Barras, which is where it was at the time, and when I went in, I was wrapped up on Look of the North, 'cause it was freezing, and the lady, who was lovely, done my bracelet, and she said, that it was a heated jacket, and she said, do you work outside? And I said, yeah. She said, what do you do? I was like, so anyway, I explained what I do, and she went, oh my goodness. Now bear in mind, you're next to the Barrowland, the ballroom.
Yeah.
And she said, my friend along at Randall's, she said, you should go in there, and have you been in there? And I'm saying, no, I haven't, what is it? So she explained all about Randall's Antiques and everything else. I said, that sounds amazing. Anyway, that was fine. She says, give me your number, I'm going to speak to him. So she took her phone number, she took my phone number, that was fine. And then she messaged me and she said, you have to give Andy at Randall's a little message and he's going to let you in. I was like, right, and I still hadn't been in at this point.
Yeah.
So I think after that, David and I quickly went up and had a look, but we just had a look, thought it was creepy and amazing.
Yeah.
And then I messaged Andy and said, look, I think he'd messaged me first, that's what it was, and then messaged him back and said, yeah, can we come up and have a look? And David and I went up, introduced ourselves to Andy, and then we just became pals. Andy just liked our energy, he said.
Yeah.
That's on the screen already.
Oh,
look.
there it is, look.
Yeah, that's a Barras. That's
So it's an
Sarah's room.
antique
It's an
store, is
antique
that
shop
right?
With a creepy
Yeah.
dolls
Okay.
room at the back. So he is the artist of all these dolls. He makes all these
Wow.
dolls.
Right, okay.
So that's where we done most of our investigating. So yeah, Andy, we liked his energy, he liked ours, and it's exclusive to us.
Yeah.
which is nice
That
because
is
he's quite
nice.
protective of his spirits
Yeah.
now. Andy had never done this in his life either. Never done anything like
So
it.
this has
The
been
interesting thing is, Andy, like a lot of people, is a bit sensitive to spirit as well. So in that room, Sarah's room, he had already sensed for years that there were children in that room.
right. Okay.
And he never said anything, didn't know it the first time we went. And I went into the room and I was like, well, I've got a wee girl and I've got an older lady, and the wee girl is running right round the aisle type thing. And he was like, oh my God, I've always sensed a wee girl in here. And when I come in here to turn the lights off, locking up at night, I talk to her.
Oh,
So, unbeknown to him, Sarah and the spirits
All right.
in that room all knew him and spoke to him anyway. There was already a relationship with
Yeah.
them. So
you were
I think-
validating
yeah.
that for him as well,
So I
which
think
is lovely.
the evolution of the time that we've been there, it's kind of grown. And it's kind of one of those things that's kind of been meant to be kind of thing.
Or
So
use a relationship building with them, really,
the
aren't
same
you?
as the
And-
spirits as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm really fiercely protective of the spirits in the barracks now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
See,
think
that's
because
really
we've known them.
nice. That's so nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Sarah videos, I don't know if they triggered me because it was a child.
child.
I think,
I think you
I think
do
it's a
have
wee
stuff
voice.
with
Aye.
children.
And she keeps saying, love you.
Yeah, I just feel like it makes me feel emotional, and Tony knows that I don't really like to get emotional or cry unless I'm on my own. I have weird, I just don't like it. I'm like, here's my mask. I'm not gonna cry. So, but
too.
yeah, that makes me feel emotional when it's
The
children.
thing is, though,
children.
when you're working with spirit,
Yeah.
what you're doing, wherever you're doing it, if you're working with spirit, you have absolutely no control over your emotions.
Yeah.
If a spirit,
Well, there you go. That'd be why I'm so blocked.
uh-huh,
Because I'm like, spirit's not seeing me cry if my pals don't
I
see me
know,
cry.
but like you're in the middle of an event
No,
and
I
you've
know.
got like
Aye,
30,
you
30,
can't
40 guests
Yeah.
sitting there,
choose.
and like a spirit comes through and starts communicating, telling you what happened to them, and all of a sudden I'm in floods of
Aye.
tears, and you're like, oh my God, they're looking at me.
Yeah.
But even if you're not a medium, that still happens to a
Yeah.
lot of our guests and to a lot of the crew sometimes. And a lot of the guests will either have to come out because they're just really emotional for they don't know what reason for things. So it's not, it does happen to us all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I suppose it is just
And
how
we warn
open
them of
people
that,
are,
yeah.
isn't it?
We
And they
always say
start
that.
laughing for
At the
nothing.
start,
Yeah.
would just say like you leave your dignity at the door
Yeah.
because you never know. You just never know what's going to happen.
Grown men that are maybe frightened when they come in and know this is a load of rubbish, and they're the ones that come out and they're shaking or they're crying or they're and
Yeah.
they've no explanation for why they're feeling like that.
Yeah.
I remember that guy
Jedburgh.
ran out the cell block. Like,
Oh, really?
It's a shame.
so we knew from the previous group that we'd had in that there was a particular cell where this shadow man would appear. And we thought, right, who's the biggest skeptic when we brought the next group in? And this guy goes, I'll do it. There's nothing there, nothing's going to happen. And he went into the cell that we knew the shadow figure was in. And within 10 minutes, he flew out of that
Oh,
cell,
my God.
ran down. His heart was beating like nothing on earth. He was sobbing like a child.
He just sat in the
we had
bedroom.
to take him out. It
So
was
you actually
so
saw
sad.
a shadow of a
He saw a man's figure
And
in the
can-
cell block moving across the wall to the door.
Can I just
and he
ask
freaked.
though, how, and this is just to anybody that can answer this, how can some spirits like show themselves in that way, like a shadow, and not all spirits can? Like a lot of people really want to connect with like a loved one that's passed. Why can't we see like a shadow of our granny or parent? Or
It boils down to energy and the strength of energy that spirit has, right? So, how do you explain that? So a shadow figure is the easiest form of apparition to do. It takes the least amount of energy for the spirit to do it.
right?
A full-on apparition that would appear like us looking
Yeah,
at each
like
other
us in this room.
takes an enormous amount of energy, and it's very rare. I've seen probably 3 in nearly 25
Oh
years.
my goodness.
Out of all the venues that we've done. You also have, excuse me, you also have spirits who I would call enablers. So just say your granda was a really quiet man, kept himself to himself, really gentle, kind soul, but your granny was fierce. And that fierceness
Just show yourself, Jack.
is
Just show yourself.
Your granny's fierceness is the driving energy to bring your granda through.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's so placid, his energy isn't quite as high as your granny. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
that makes sense.
you tend to have that, particularly if you're doing mediumship readings and things like that. For example, my wee granny Betty was like what I just described. She was really quiet. She was really introverted. Lovely, lovely woman. But it's my big granny that brings her through, that enables her to communicate. Does that make sense?
Aye.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you, Tony, you saw your gran, didn't you, Bella?
And
You
it
saw
was
Bella?
only like the day after she passed away.
That's
She
interesting.
appeared in the hall, but it wasn't just me. My husband saw her as well. It was
Yeah.
in the middle of the night, and that's what kind of opened
That's
this,
really, really good.
Opened
this
that-
door
yeah.
for me.
And it's just been unstoppable for you
Yeah,
since.
so-
The funny thing is that happened with my granny as well, the day after she passed.
really?
Wow.
I was coming out the petrol station, having put petrol in the car, and I came out the petrol station and there she was sitting in the passenger seat. And I was like, there's my granny. She's dead.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That is funny,
must be
isn't it?
it must be a maternal, a grandmother
That
thing.
they can push through like
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was
My,
bizarre.
when my mum went to a medium years and years ago, she, the medium told my mum that my gran always sits in my passenger seat to make sure that I'm safe. So I always would, and I still
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, you do
So
talk
how
to her,
does that
don't you?
I'll talk to her, but I
this
never see.
conversation was as a major example of A, proof, and B, synchronicities.
Yeah.
Because we're all meant to
Definitely.
hear
Yeah.
and experience what we just had.
Aye.
Love
Which
the
is interesting.
synchronicities. That's our favourite thing, isn't it?
You
Yeah.
honestly, Tony loves the synchronicity, and they just seem to happen all the time,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
It's
It's-
good. I
it's
like
It's proof
it.
though, it's proof.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
validation 100%.
See, going back to the Barras, then how many times have you been, and then what's the kind of the story or the main kind of part of the story that you found out that you found really interesting? Because you know, people that have got in touch with you, family members and stuff. I think that's amazing. Where did that all come from?
So we actually got our memory came up on TikTok. So we've been investigating the Barras for over a year now, just over a year.
Just over a year, yeah.
And initially it was the little girl, Sarah, and then this Doris. But we've had a lot of nuns and priests now, unbeknown to us at the time, because it was a lot of Father and Son and Amen and all this that was coming through the spirit boxes, and a lot of interaction with
With
all
a
our
lot of, Latin,
trigger objects, a lot of Latin.
Oh wow!
But unbeknown to us,
okay.
the back wall of Andy's at Randall's is the chapel next door.
St. Alphonsus.
Alphonsus.
Oh wow!
So I mean, literally, so
that
the brick
makes
walls there and his
sense.
stuff's lined
I
against
know,
it.
shivers.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
so-
really interesting thing is as well, is like, it was priests and nuns. And we were like, for a while we were like, why is there priests and nuns coming through? Surely it's just a priest. And then Andy said it was actually when it was in operation, it was actually a training place for nuns and priests. And there was a dormitory block on the back of,
The
it,
back of it.
where the nuns
So
slept.
they slept
Uh-huh.
there. Oh,
So that's why there was both nuns and priests coming through, and we didn't
Coming
know
we
that.
had no idea, none at all. That this we just it took me long enough to find Randall's. Never mind actually know what was going on round about it. So we had no clue when we went in. It's only now that when the more we're going, the more experience we get in there, we know who's going to come through, or we hope that that's who's going to come through. But the priest doesn't particularly like us being there, which I understand that. We're kind of blasphemous for
But
him, what we're doing.
thinks we're doing the devil's work
Yeah.
a bit
Devil's
much, and he's
work,
told us that. He's
yeah.
told us that through the box.
The nuns are okay, they're quite chatty. Who else have we had? And we've had a couple of soldiers, Lachlan and someone else came through. But again, Andy has a lot of war memorabilia up there, and there's actually another
course,
stall
'cause
right across from
Spirits
him.
will come from
Yeah.
antiques as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, like
Yeah.
attachments and things.
Attachments, yeah.
yeah.
So there's gas masks on the wall. On a couple, no, they're on a couple of the dolls actually. He's got hanging on the wall, and I think one of them, but I remember right, actually makes a comment about that, about the gas mask and
does.
things on the wall. So
We need to go around those.
I told
if
you.
well, yeah.
You
so
do?
everybody asks us
It
as
wasn't
well.
me that said that. I'm like, how did that just come out?
Why do we not do public events in Randall's, right? The
That was
reason,
another Amber.
Yeah.
the reason we do public events and take public into Randall's is because one, Andy lives there, it's his
It's
home.
his, yeah.
You know,
his
it's his
flat's
flat
directly
in
above the
there.
shop.
Two, it's too much stuff lying around, it just it wouldn't be possible to hold an event in there. But we did do one for charity last year, and we took 5 guests from the public, and we just charged them ticket money, and we gave it to Andy for the Marie Curie, I think it was. We took 5 in. One particular lady, a bit like you, the minute the spirit box came in, panicked and went home because she didn't like Doris's voice. It frightened her. Although she'd been watching the videos, she hadn't heard it in real life, and she got a bit panicky and came out. So I'm pretty sure that was where I was going next, that Andy wouldn't mind if we took the 2 in and done a private investigation.
Yeah.
Look at her face.
Be a day.
It would be
Absolutely
there,
fine.
you'll be
No, I know
fine.
I would love it as well. Like,
Just
it's
a wee-
so interesting.
hour and a half
Yeah.
with myself, David, and Andy's always there because it's his property, obviously, and he just kind of sits and watches.
But I love that you are very respectful
Yeah.
of his
That's the most
property,
important
and
part.
and,
yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
the spirits around. Does Sarah always come through?
She does, aye, and so does
Most of
Doris.
the time.
Doris is probably. I kind of mentioned this briefly in a video on my own TikTok a couple of years ago, but in mediumship and when you're working with spirit, there's probably 3 or 4 spirits over the years that stay with you. I don't mean physically stay with you, but you remember them and.
Because it's like you're
about them.
meeting,
Yeah.
you are meeting
Yeah, it's
another
like a
soul.
person.
Yeah, totally.
And for me, one of those people is Doris, because A, I really get her. B, she reminds me of my granny. She speaks like my granny. And C, she's such a funny, really good person. And some of the things that she comes away with are like things that my granny would shout through to the kitchen to my granda, like really cheeky, and you're like, my God.
She's comfortable with you, clearly.
And she's really comfortable with us. She, the relationship that we have with her now is Doris in life was a medium herself. So she very quickly got the grasp of what we were there to do.
What you were doing.
And every time we're there now, she tries to do something metaphysical. So there's been a couple of times when we've been on lives that she's actually tried to physically appear. And although
Wow.
when you're on a live, you're so busy directing the content and
So you don't
replying to
notice her
comments,
ghost next to
you
you.
don't
No,
notice
you don't
what's going
notice.
on around
Yeah.
you, right? And it was every single comment. I can see somebody forming over
Oh
there.
my God.
I can see somebody forming over there. Then the next time we went, everybody was seeing these blue lights. Remember?
We weren't.
And we went,
Oh, okay.
and we were like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Right? So then we went back the next time. So we go about once a month maybe. And the next time we went back, Doris was really depressed, and she was coming through on the spirit box. Do you know, like one-word answers and.
Not ourselves.
Not herself, and I was like, Doris, what's wrong with you? She was like, nothing. And
She says nothing.
and eventually we managed to get it out of that because us personally hadn't noticed the effort that she'd put in trying to appear the previous time. She was really
Disheartened.
disheartened and down on herself, thinking that she hadn't done enough, whereas she actually had, and everybody watching had witnessed it. Just we hadn't witnessed it
Because we were too busy
because
focusing
we're too
on.
busy directing the live.
Yeah.
sad.
So were you just really honest with her and said,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sorry, we were...
And then
Busy.
so once we had that conversation, I'm sorry, Doris, we didn't see because we were busy. She was back to normal. Back to normal.
We'd asked what gift she would like us to bring, and she said black musk and Vaseline. That's what she
How
wanted.
funny is that? My gran used to swear by Vaseline. She loved Vaseline.
Well, we looked it up, and
Well.
I mean, it goes right away back kind of pre-war, and they used it for all sorts of ailments and everything else, particularly in the trenches and things like that. So
Yeah.
they did use it back then. And the black musk was maybe one that she couldn't get a hold of or something, the perfume. So we did get her
Bear
black
in mind, there's
musk.
things that we can't publish.
Yeah.
And Doris has
She did tell us what she
enlightened us.
was using the Vaseline for, but we can't say. But we took her a
Chewing the
tin of
fat, that's
Vaseline.
all I'm going to say.
Love it.
We took her a tin of Vaseline, took her the black musk, and
That's
she likes
hilarious.
whiskey. So we always take her a bottle of whiskey and we put some objects beside it to see if she'll come forward. She has a few times and she's touched the things, but it is honestly, it's fascinating. Or if you ask her, so we now know, we don't know what Andy has for his dinner before we arrive, and Andy kept saying, I'm sure she's up in the flat.
I'm sure
I can
she's
feel her
watching me.
presence up in the flat. So now we say, all the time we always ask, Doris, do you know what Andy had for his dinner? And I mean, maybe 80% of the time she gets it bang on. She'll
tells
say
you.
Gets it
chicken,
bang on.
roast beef, because he eats roast beef,
Pie.
pie.
Andy's caught
white
waiting
meat,
that he's
chicken.
up to it there.
It's fascinating what that spirit knows.
I also love that you go and visit her like she's a relative or a pal. Like,
I
I
know.
think
She
that's
does
so,
feel like that though.
Aye,
She's so
that's
nice.
the
She
connection
does feel
you've
like that.
got now.
and the
like-
connection that I think Spirit probably quite often needs and doesn't
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah adores Andy. You can hear her saying love you. She loves her red balloons. So he takes her red balloons. He'll put red balloons up in that room now. He's changed it from the creepy dolls room to Sarah's room.
Oh,
He's renamed it Sarah's room. I mean, he's a soul. He's really
Yeah,
protects,
he buys her presents and things like that as well.
puts them down, puts
And
them on the
then
shelf.
He'll
Oh,
buy her
that's
something
so
new.
lovely.
And Sarah will come, the next time you go up, Sarah will come forward and will be like, Sarah, do you like your new toy? And she'll tell you what the toy is and things like that. It's just so clever.
what's
for,
her story?
For being 4. So, talking about Doris, right? So, in the 30s and the 40s, even the 50s and the 60s, Glasgow was really overcrowded. So, in tenement blocks, you would have maybe 8 or 9 of the same family living in each flat.
Yep.
So Doris and her family and Sarah and her family lived in the same close above Ross's Cafe
Right.
on the corner of London Road and Kent Street.
Yeah.
And from all the spirits there passed when the tenement got hit by a bomb in the Blitz in 1941. From each visit that we've done at Randall's, as the visits go on, we're learning more and more about what happened to them. So Sarah's mum, when they were alive before the bomb hit, wasn't particularly maternal. She was an alcoholic. She was having an affair with one of the other husbands in the close. And Sarah and her brothers and sisters pretty much had to fend for themselves. Doris, at this stage, we discovered was like the street mother. So she took in all the kids, she fed them, she looked after them. And now in the afterlife, she's still doing the same
Oh
thing.
my God, that is just...
So, yeah.
And this, by the way, for anyone that's listening, is all what we've learned through our
Through
visits to
them.
And
Randall's.
it is actually all
It's
documented
all on
in
the
history.
videos, you know.
It's
Wow.
mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing the
That
things.
also must be quite a strange feeling when you've connected and then you physically read about it and you think almost like I
Yeah.
know these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It's a similar thing to, we were really lucky to be allowed to investigate underneath Central Station. And we did this board session. Now, whether you like the board or whether you don't like the board, I use my own judgment and I measure it from my years of experience and how well the board is and how good it does. And this was an absolutely mind-blowing board session. So there's 3 that, off the top of my head, over all these years, that have been the best board sessions, that have been the most accurate and historically recorded information has came through. And this one with this chap is historically documented from, what was it, 1952, I think it was, when he passed.
We didn't know this at the time either.
We didn't know
until
any of
we
this at the
got
time.
on.
It was that all this information came through the board.
I think that's so amazing that you like go home and then like go research it and you've got a team of people.
Yeah.
that-
But it's so exciting when you do
Yeah,
get a
I
link.
can imagine that.
Because
so
it is
exciting.
massive confirmation.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
people that were on the board that night was myself and another crew member, Paul. And Paul and I are the biggest skeptics about boards. I just don't like them. We use them, but I don't like them. I don't think that they just don't work for me.
Yeah.
So we were the 2 big skeptics on that. But that planchette was moving. Now I knew it wouldn't be him.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be myself, wouldn't be Paul, and it wouldn't have been Alex either or Stacey that were there
Yeah.
because they're a bit kind of itchy peachy about it.
But it was
and
really fluid
it
as
was
well.
good.
For a planchette moving, how do you explain it? Sometimes they're quite sticky
I was
or they
gonna say
move
it's
a
quite
little bit
slowly.
staggered,
doesn't it?
And it's
Aye.
like like pulling teeth trying to get it to move, but this was really fluid. It was like
Flowing,
zzz,
amazing.
zzz,
Straight
zzz.
to them.
Yeah, it was
I think
really,
I get
really
bored
good.
easy, I get fed up.
You're like, hurry up,
yeah,
I'm like,
No,
I
it's
get
not
that.
working. I'm just coming off it. I think that's just me. That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
I get
Whereas that was, and we're all looking at each other's nails to see if they're changing colour and things, and then it was really good.
Oh,
And as you say, it was historically correct. When we got home, we were like, oh my god.
Because it is, even though you're there, you know it, you believe it, you're fully in it. I think you
Yeah.
still just. I know myself, even when I used to, I don't do readings anymore, but when I used to, as soon as you get that confirmation
validation
from
that,
the client, or they go away and they come back and
It's like,
send it to you,
how do you even describe that feeling?
you can't. I don't think you can. I think it's like, because you do, like, I fully believe in everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Other than
that you
God, like, I
guys
can't
are
think of another
saying,
word.
aye, and then when you get that, it's just like, oh my God, this is
Almost
real,
like
even though I know it is.
It's like an excitement and a relief, I can imagine,
Aye, the relief,
because
maybe.
I think you'd be so excited as well to think, like, this actually happened. Like, I've actually
Yeah.
just
I'm doing
that, like,
aye,
pieced together
able
another
to
bit of
do
history.
this.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
that's amazing. And the spirits that you must sometimes come into contact with, I imagine, have been through
yeah, a
pretty
lot.
hard times. I mean, you were just talking about the Blitz and things like that. Like, that's, really, really traumatic, and also something wasn't that
absolutely,
long
yeah.
ago. And then there will even be, I can imagine, in your field of work and also what you guys do, there's going to be a lot of really hard stories of when you mentioned like servants and slavery or children
and things.
abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's children. that
Yeah,
get me.
even
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the kind of the way that staff and things were treated, like housekeepers and stuff. So do you ever try and connect with spirit in that way, like Tony would call it, like rescue mediumship? Do you
Yeah.
Like helping them.
helping them?
Cross.
So the
Yeah.
guy, just briefly on the Central Station guy on the board,
Yeah.
he was a rescue.
Okay.
He managed to get him sent over to his wife and kids who were waiting for
I
him.
think that's so amazing that you two can do that. I feel like that's such a rare thing.
I know you're
Love
sitting like that, aren't we?
It is, but it's,
I just love hearing it from somebody else,
Yeah,
because not
that'd be
like
nice.
Other
I'm
mediums
trying to
I know
remember.
don't.
see, because so much happens all the time, and it's like with mediums and psychism and things like that, you're no all day every day. It's not just
No.
your own brain. You're not thinking about, I need to pay the rent and to do this. You've got chatter going on at the same time.
Totally.
So trying to pick out a particular thing.
Are you talking about to reunite them?
There was a specific thing.
The mother and child up at the
Oh
necropolis?
yeah, that's
Oh, that
another one.
is this the one I've
That's
just
another
seen?
one.
The
Maybe.
graveyard one
They,
that you
was,
posted?
they couldn't see one another, so
Yeah,
they
so-
were there. I know.
You were trying
I
to
know.
help them find
Yeah,
their grave.
so they were both
or...
on
Oh no.
different.
I
That
know.
was another one.
Oh, is that a different
Yeah,
one?
that was another one. It's mad why they hang about cemeteries, but by the by, we had went up to the necropolis, and I could see we went to a different bit to one that we normally go to, and we were interacting with this wee boy in spirit who I can't mind. I think he was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and he was looking for his mum, just happy enough, just talking away. And as we were talking to him, the majority of the time I see spirit like you and I, like a physical person in the room. And out the corner of my left eye, I saw this woman in a kind of ivory dress starting to build and appear. And I was like, I wonder if that's his mum. And we started asking the wee boy, can you see the lady to the left? And he's like, no. And we kind of put him to the side for a second and started trying to speak to the mother. And she couldn't see him either. So they were on, through the circumstances of how they passed in their life, they were on kind of like slightly different dimensions. They couldn't see each other, although they were in the same place.
Oh wow.
So that was a rescue where I had to try and figure out how to poke a hole through the dimensions to get them back together, and then from there send them over to where they're meant to be.
Wow.
That's
It's a sad one.
that is
That one.
I can imagine.
that's a lot.
But it's quite common. Like by the videos that you see on TikTok, you can guarantee that there's
You've been
at least
doing
one
that.
spirit
Yeah.
that's been crossed over.
Definitely.
As a
yeah.
result
God,
of that
that's
video.
a paranormal hangover the day after
I was
that.
going to
isn't
say,
it?
was
That's
that a few
lot of
days on your
energy.
bed after
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
It's so draining.
Like I'll
It's
go
like,
and sit in the car and David will do his stuff and then he'll come
okay.
in and that's it.
Okay.
And then a couple of times you've said, oh, it's not just then, there's others have come down because he's been a wee while.
oh, that was the one that I was thinking of, the woman at Liss Church a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Normally in rescue work, the spirits, when I do what I need to do, the spirits are quite apprehensive to go with my people to get them there. And they kind of pussyfoot about and they shift their feet and they look at you as if to say, is this all right? And you need to try and convince them
Aye.
it's
Oh,
okay, you can go
It's
with them.
safe, yeah.
But this woman from Liss Church was like, not even a thanks very much. She was just off like a rocket. And I'm
She
like,
was ready to
uh-huh.
go.
I was like, my God, you're welcome.
It does.
No
And
fear.
then me being an overthinker, it makes you think how many spirits are just lurking around waiting on somebody
Yeah.
helping them.
I know, and people didn't really like this when we spoke about it because they
Was this
then
people on-
started questioning, or they don't like the fact that thinking their loved ones might be
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is very, very rare.
Yeah.
In my personal experience, 90% of people who pass go where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And it's really only, in my experience again, the method or circumstances around their passing
Yeah.
that cause their trauma to keep them locked
That's
in
what
this
you've
dimension,
said as well, isn't it?
Trauma.
Yeah.
which seems to be the way it is. It's
And then
very,
these
very
places
unusual.
yous are going to as well.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of that, isn't there? The
Yeah.
kind of trauma connected to it.
We do get a lot of comments actually what you've just said about that, about, oh, don't say that because
Yeah.
I hope my mum's met my dad
Yeah.
and things, and that's why I just tagged David over to David, you can explain it better than me as a medium, and they'll take it more from a medium than what they will
Yeah.
from me. So
I don't like doing personal stuff.
Right.
The same as you, I don't do
Yeah.
readings anymore either.
I was going to ask that. Do you do readings anymore, or do
No,
you just?
I don't do
no?
readings anymore. But if somebody comments,
You try and tap into it.
I
for them.
tap into it
Yeah.
to give them the reassurance
I
that
can
they
imagine
need.
it's hard not to be
Yeah.
honest.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
On a very, very rare occasion, if energetically I'm pulled to somebody's comment where their energy is coming out of the comment and I feel that I need to intervene with that,
Yeah.
then I will do
Yeah.
a brief private reading. But I wouldn't ever tell anybody
Yeah.
that
That
I
you're
do
doing
that,
it.
and I don't tell anybody that I
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
And I think that also just says
I know,
you're
it
doing it
speaks
for
volumes.
the right
you're doing it
reasons.
to
Yeah,
help.
so
Yeah.
it does. Because
Yeah.
again, you see people, and I'll sometimes send you things, and
Yeah.
I don't work in the same field of work as you, but I'm like, this person's in their ego. I can totally tell like this. But sometimes you can see these people on socials who, you know, it's sometimes you can just see they're in it for themselves.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Well, the industry's
Absolutely.
boomed, hasn't it? You don't know that
Yeah.
even more
Oh
than
my
me, because
God, aye,
you have been
mega.
in it a lot longer than I have.
In
but
the last,
since COVID,
yeah,
it's when
yeah, it's just exploded, hasn't
Crazy.
it?
yeah, and I mean, people think like, oh, you're on this and doing that live, and this live, you must be minted. You're lucky if we make 40
Aye.
pence. We don't ask for
TikTok
any.
don't pay us.
They don't. We don't ask for any money. We certainly don't ask for any gifts or anything. In any public events that we do, everybody else has got other jobs. Well, the majority
Yeah.
have got other jobs. The venues to hire are so expensive. So if you work that out, you know, and you've got 20 guests, we've got to cover that venue
the
hire.
cost.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, all our crew,
And then you've got to cover the cruise, petrol and
petrol
diesel.
and things like that. So
And then you've got the website, you've got the insurance. There's
people
so
are
many
just so
things.
nosy,
Yeah.
they weren't they?
Yeah.
People just
They
always
are.
wanting to say the same thing
I
with
know.
me, being on the
Aye.
radio and stuff. You must be minting. I'm like,
Oh, really?
I know.
are you kidding?
No, you've not got a clue.
No, you've not got a clue. But see, you've mentioned a few times about public events. So what kind of events do you do then, and where can people find out about them, and how often do you do them?
So we tend to not overdo them. I know we could probably get a lot more events squeezed in a year, but we've got to remember that all our crew have got to give their Saturday night up, so it's not fair.
Yeah.
So we probably, I think we've done about, many have we done this year? Many have we got booked this year? About 8 max.
Yeah, I think.
So we do them all over from the north. In fact, next weekend, the weekend after, we've got Peterhead Prison, so we're doing
Oh,
one
that's
there.
going to be interesting.
And then
Although
she
you don't
says-
film them, do you?
No, we don't. Well, we might after the guests
Yeah.
go away. I think
Yeah,
we've maybe
little
got an hour
bits.
after it. But you'll find all the events on our website, which is www.thescottishcoastcompany.co.uk. Plus, we're on the socials as well. Not particularly Instagram, because videos don't do as well on Instagram for us. It just doesn't work for us. But the rest, we're on that. So we basically do wherever we'll have us. But again, it's a cost thing just now. Times are hard for people, so we're trying to keep the venues that we're hiring kind of on the lower budget.
On the lower ticket price,
Yeah, because I say it has a reflection on the ticket price.
Yeah.
But venues have put their prices up understandably. So we've just kind of tied it to about, I think there's about 6 or 8 events this year.
Yeah, and there was one venue which we've done before and we were really keen to do again, and they've exploded their hire fee to
Oh, wow.
7,000 plus VAT.
Shut.
So,
Oh my God, that's like our
For a night.
wedding.
And do you know, it's
so
a bit,
if you
it's-
get 30 or 40 guests,
Yeah.
it's still going to be
God.
like 200 quid a ticket.
the thing is,
That's
we don't ask for
crazy.
anything. We want the lights out. We don't need heating or anything on. We need nothing. We bring our own tea and coffee
Yeah, we
stuff.
want
so
it as
don't
cold
as
need
possible.
anything.
Want a private chef.
It's a total vanilla event. So yeah,
And see, when you're at the events, though, what do you do? Do you kind of teach people how to use equipment? Are you trying to connect with spirit? Like, what is it people are
What's
coming
like
for?
the process?
Kind of all of the above. It's like we're really fortunate that we've got a lot of real long term followers and guests. So when we do get new people, we have to try and explain things to them as though they don't
that's
know.
hard. Yeah.
So we have to explain the equipment, how spirit work, and having
Yeah,
to do
you're
that in the
teaching them a
space of
little
10
bit.
minutes
Yeah.
is really difficult.
That's so nice, though, that you've gained that trust of so many people that they'll come back, because it's probably people who really are, whether they're wanting to connect or, you know, do something for themselves, but they've found trust in.
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yes.
We've got regular followers that have been with us since day dot, and they're on most of the events they're on. They're on all the time. But if you're just new, say you would come to our event, we do give you a wee shot. David will pick 3 or 4 most active areas, and you'll get to do different workshops really in different areas
That's
with
cool.
different
That's
people.
cool.
So it's not just you're all walking about, turning lights off and trying to get knocks and bangs and things. As I
Which
say,
is my favourite thing, but it's not
I know,
everybody's favourite.
Yeah.
it's kind of boring for me. I like a wee bit more activity. and
I bet
things,
you get
whereas-
so many people saying, "Oh, she's knocking that door," or something. You know, that's somebody
time.
else. I mean, you're just, it's like,
all the time.
See
And
if
then
you
they
think
shut
that-
themselves
Yeah.
when something
When
the
like
door
that.
slams shut in front of them.
exactly.
But see,
Shit
one of the
themselves.
videos I think you were talking about earlier, the one in Robert Owen's house when I was in New Lanark myself, I wasn't
4
feeling well that
knocks.
night. I was loaded with a cold, so I had decided to stay in that house on my own rather than walk all the way down to the base room and back. So I was there on my own, and the noises, that door closing and the knocks, and something brushed my thumb, and I was totally
I was
in
going to
there.
ask about that, because you said they've touched my thumb, and I thought that
100%
must,
touched my
is that
thumb.
an energy thing then
That's
too? Like,
like
how much
full
energy that would have
body.
taken to.
It brushed past, and like folks say, "Were you frightened?" I get jumpy and things like that,
Yeah.
and I was there on my own. I knew I was miles away from everyone else. I had a radio, but it's
Yeah.
still exciting. It's like a little adrenaline rush when that music box was going off up that
That
stairs.
was
There
going off
no one
crazy.
there. It's cordoned off. You can't get up there anyway because staff aren't allowed up there.
But sometimes you weren't even finishing a question. It was like, it's me.
And it's motion sensed. That particular one was motion censored, and an EMF and temperature changes on that music box. So something was going on up the stairs. But don't get me wrong, I was glad to get out because it would I just felt as if it was just getting more and more intense as the night was going on. And then I knew I had to get down those stairs to that basement to pick my stuff up. Anyway, so
Past the person that brushed your thumb.
Yeah. And past the massive spider that was living in
no,
there.
I know.
Uh-huh.
That's what's freaking me out.
You can't
but,
tell me that you're not scared of all this, but you're terrified of spiders.
Totally terrified.
Oh my God, that is
I've
like
got,
the last thing I expected.
Both of my neighbours on either side, so like next door and the house next door to that are on call to come and get spiders.
That's actually not a bad little deal though. If you're like, I will connect you to your dead granny if you get my spider.
Absolutely.
There we go.
I'll tell you what's happening in 6 months. Just you get that spider at this house.
That is a real thing. It's horrendous, isn't it? I mean, I've had acupuncture and hypnotherapy for it. It's so bad.
fear's that
and
bad.
probably I've rubbed you are frightened of them even more now. Like the minute I see anything move, and then the twos are screaming. And as I said to you before we started recording, we've cut a vigil short because of the spiders and abandoned the whole.
But you're all right with like somebody trying to appear next to
touching
you.
me.
Is that
Touching
Doris?
my hair.
I know.
Oh, wait a minute, Doris is a spider.
If I say to him, what's that in my hair, what's that in my hair, and he says nothing, I'll say, that's fine, it's your spirit. If he said, it's a spider,
There's a
I don't
spider.
Mine Paul done that to me at that
Legged
castle when we were at England. And he had this plastic spider.
Oh no.
And he put it on my
No.
hoodie. And he never said anything. And then I just happened to turn around and I seen it. I was like, stripped outside this castle. I was like,
Terrified.
no.
And most places you're going are like abandoned. Like there's going to be
Oh my God.
loads
How do you
of
decide where to go and
spiders.
where's next? on
Surely
your
it's getting
list?
really, really hard. So with the public events, we kind of get an idea the year before because people maybe come to us and suggest places. But say like this Saturday we had somewhere we were to go, it's now been cancelled. Someone wanted us to do a house investigation. So David and I just either look to see what people have suggested or we just kind of wing it and just go wherever we
If there's anywhere that we're drawn to.
Right, that you feel you need to go to.
I might go back to a couple of places.
You need to cut McLeod one. I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
That would be good.
That'd
we
be
try.
amazing.
We could go to Randall's every week, but we're not wanting to do that because you can. Sorry for saying this, but you can do it to death. It can get a bit
Yeah.
boring and a
It's the
bit.
same as
Too
event
much.
locations.
Yeah.
We'll never book somewhere twice a year maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I get that.
we could go there. We go to a cemetery if it's dry. But the weather for the last so many months has been abysmal that we've not been out that much. We used to
Yeah.
be on live on a Thursday and a Saturday. You can't hear anything. The equipment all fails. What's the point?
Yeah.
We go down to the shipyards a lot because we've got access to a building down
that's
at the
right.
hangar down there, which is good. But again, we're coming into spider season, they're batching soon. But it's somewhere to go and it's dry. So
dry.
it just depends. If anyone comes up with any suggestions and wants us to go in, then
Have you ever
good.
been up to the Black Isle?
No.
No, 'cause
No.
there's loads of the. I feel like I talk about it up there a lot just because when I've
You're
got family in
connected to
Inverness
there,
and then
aren't you?
I've got when I was younger we used to go over to the Black Isle and have a little drive and there's like a lot of paganism, witchy stuff. Like there's a lot that went on up there and I
love
just think
standing
there'd be
stones.
I think there'd be so many interesting
Particularly
stories
witches.
and stuff.
Areas, yeah.
So there's the oh god, what's it called? Cluty Well, I think it's called. Where's that? I can't
I've
think.
heard of that.
But they put like you go and put a rag up, you hang so
Oh,
like you go
yeah.
and there's like loads and loads.
Oh, like an offering.
An offering.
Offering, yeah, it's on the way to Cromarty. I think.
don't even know where any of these
Anyway,
places
you
are.
should actually have a
Up
little
there.
look.
We go to the drowning pond regularly because it's not too far away and
Sounds
it's
delightful. Where's
Yeah,
that?
that does.
up near Mugdock Park.
Oh wow, I
okay.
like
the witches,
Mugdock.
the witches there.
Love you.
They love me. Aye,
There's
they
loads
do.
of stories of witches at Mugdock. My gran used to
Really?
tell me, yeah, because my gran used to tell me about them. Like when
They come
they
from the campsies.
when they would see if they would drown, or you know the classic
Right.
kind of.
Well, that drowning pond's still there. That's where we investigate up there.
Wow.
But a few times it's made me feel a bit funny and want to go in the pond. We've had to
Because
come back.
they want Yvonne.
But that's not.
Yeah,
doesn't
I
just
was
happen
gonna
with
say,
David.
this is obviously
It's-
connections
Yeah,
with
it's
your
happened
witch
with my other
lives as
friend who's a
well.
medium as well, and I had to leave with to come home because I was feeling the same feeling as what I was feeling when I was doing the
Do
investigation.
you think if you jumped in that pond, they'd pull you down?
I don't, but David does.
Yeah, let's not try that.
Yeah.
not
Well,
right.
David and Jane, who's also a medium, was there that night, and both of them said, "Right, let's go." And I
Let's
was
go.
quite happy to stay, and they were like, "Let's get out of here." But we tell them what happened on the way home.
This is really bizarre.
I was going to say we need like I was
tell you
going to
what
ask what
happened.
your kind of
So
spookiest story was. So let's
I
go
felt
for this.
when they were talking that there was a little jetty that I was getting drawn nearer the jetty, nearer the end of the edge of the jetty, which didn't bother me, so I was standing. But there was just something wanted me in the pond. Anyway, we gathered up our stuff because the two of them pulled me out. I was quite enjoying myself, pulled me out. So if you've been to that in Mugdock Park, so the drowning pond is a circle, right? So you go around a circle. There's only one way to the car park. One way in, one way out.
I've been, I didn't know it's called the Drowning Pond.
no, I know.
Yeah,
same.
it's Gallohill Drowning Pond or something it's called. So we came down the little path and we walked around and we set up all our stuff. Now to get back out, just go the same way, and that was fine. So we set off, and as we seemed to be walking for ages, and I know the part, right, and I'm going, hang on a wee minute. I said, I don't remember seeing that. And it was maybe just a log, and there was a bit of, I don't know.
A random farmer's gate that appeared to nowhere.
And I'm going, where are we? No, there is no way on the planet, if you draw a map, you can get lost. It's a circle. So you're basically leaving the jetty, turning to the left, going to the car park. Nah. So all of a sudden, as you say, follow the circle. Even if we'd went round the circle, you'd have came round the opposite direction. And I'm saying to them, something's not right. Something is definitely not right here. Anyway, the next time I knew, we're back at the jetty.
Oh my God.
But
After about
trying
40
to
minutes.
claim you.
After about 40 minutes.
we didn't come in the other end. So what I mean is we've obviously went round and then for some reason went back.
It's been some kind of
Does that make sense?
I was going to say that's a pure
If we went in a circle, we'd have been right round and came to the opposite side of the jetty. We ended up back at the jetty at the same place.
But we didn't turn back though. We just constantly
you were
walked
going
in this
round
circle.
in a circle.
But
And
circle
then
to
for about
where?
40 minutes. Exactly.
So
Well, they
been
want- they want
that is
you
one of
bad,
the-
don't
I've
they?
come back since then with the dog myself, and it's not happened because I know it at the back of my hand. I used to take my kids there when they were wee. I love Mugdock Park, so there is no way, and we even drew it out in a map, and there is no way that could have happened. Something happened. Your theory is quite, and Jane's theory was that there was a little glitch.
Was it timelines?
No, I think
Timelines and stuff, yeah.
definitely.
But it's interesting that we had a glitch a few weeks ago as well at us, as well, remember? Timeline glitch,
Wow.
which is mad. This cemetery just appeared from nowhere. It's never been there
Never
any
seen it.
time we've been there before.
I've never noticed it, and I'm saying, I've been in the right cemetery, and we're there all the time. We've stayed at Luss, we've stayed in the cottages in Luss. Been there for I was a wee girl. My dad used to take me to Luss, and all of a sudden I stopped, and I was like, where are we? If it was just
really
messing with your
strange
head.
feeling. Yeah.
And we've never noticed this, but the Mugdock Park thing to this day, I have no explanation for that.
And do you believe in past lives?
David and I actually have had a past life regression when we didn't really know each other very well and
Yeah.
seen each other. I didn't know though. I'd only just met him.
But we
This
had
is amazing. This episode's going to be 5 hours.
Yeah.
I know, we could literally sit here all day.
the minute we
Come
met.
back next week and talk about your past life.
The minute we met, we knew each other, but we
Yeah,
didn't know
love
how.
that. Yeah.
So
Yeah, Tony's all about that.
yeah.
Past
So
life.
we got a past life regression done probably like 6 months after we met or something, and we've both had a lot of lives together.
But I didn't know. I didn't
You're
say to him.
thinking witch though, aren't you?
Oh, you've
You
100% been there. You're one of them. That's obviously why
I know.
you're back here and trying to
I know.
get
I know.
you back.
And I think as well, you always hear me saying in our lives, I think because I was a nurse for 30 years, I think most nurses, probably 99% of nurses were witches. I think they were healers. Or
the
they
healers.
Were, and things like that. So I think I get the vibe the minute you walk into a place. And I always say, you're witches, here's the witches, because I can feel them. They're not all bad.
No.
No,
Oh, no, I
absolutely
don't
not.
believe
Like
that
that,
at
a lot
all.
of them
Yeah.
could heal ailments and it was seen as magic and
Yeah.
drown you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're a healer.
Yeah.
That's what you're
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what their job
Yeah.
was to heal.
Yeah.
What we're all talking about now, we'd all get bloody drowned for.
Hey.
We'd be put in an
We'll
asylum.
be
I
50
know.
years ago,
Aye.
we'd be in an asylum for speaking about this.
We actually would be. That's why it's amazing now that the world is becoming a bit more woke, but also
It's went from this extreme to
yeah.
this.
Yeah, well, I know it
to the
has.
next. Oh, it's been so amazing having you on, and we could talk
Thank
and
you,
talk for
Pams.
hours.
I know,
We could. We
definitely
literally
need
could
to
sit
get
here
I
and
into
talk
that.
know.
Go through every single video and tell you what happened.
Yeah.
I know. No, we'll need to stay in touch. We will definitely do if you wouldn't mind coming to Clyde one
Well,
and do
Yeah.
we would love to have
I
you
do.
out with us. So if you want to come out, you just let us know and we'll
And
take you out.
Randall's.
Yeah,
Even
Randall's.
if you want us to come over to a building,
Anywhere.
when we were struggling to find places on a Saturday and we weren't doing public events, we actually thought we would do this time. We would just drop a pin anywhere. Could be Greg's,
That's
could
where
be
you
outside
go.
Morrison's, because spirits
bus
are
stop.
everywhere.
That's
Spirits
right.
are everywhere, so
You're
why don't we
right,
just
aye.
try that? So we might do that.
And you're
We
meant
did a
to go
lay-by.
there.
We've done a
Maybe we did a
lay-by.
lay-by on the A75.
Anyway, we were just dropping pins because, they walk
Well, that's
amongst
where you're
us,
meant
so-
to
We'll
be
have a
then,
look
isn't
at have a look at
Yeah.
the Black Isle. Lots and lots
Will
of
do.
witchy stuff there.
But if
Definitely.
you decide you want to come up to Randall's, I'll speak to Andy, who
I would love that.
I'm certain he'll say yes. It's
And we'll
absolutely
talk
fine.
Amber into it.
and then get a wee 8 coffee. That'll.
You can sit
That'll
down
settle
and just
me out.
listen. You don't need to say anything.
She'll
Yeah,
be
I'll
writing
probably
about
end up- I'll
it. The
get right. I will.
experiences she's had.
I know.
Aye, she'll be fine when she's
no,
there.
seriously,
I
you're
know.
welcome. to
Let's not
come
even
out.
talk about the time I turned into my
Your
gran. That's for
granny,
another
I know,
day.
let's not do that.
You turned into your gran.
Turned into my gran at one of her
Start
workshops.
Basically, like
Then shut myself right off.
transfiguration with her own gran.
Transfiguration, turned into my
Oh.
gran, then shut myself off. Was like, that was terrifying. I still
That's
believe.
lovely.
No, I know
Well,
it was really
Your
nice.
gran- your gran's
She
let you
seen
know.
that afterwards that it was
Yeah.
lovely, but
So nice.
Yeah.
All I could hear through the full thing. I knew I was in my grand's wee dressing gown, our wee house coat, she called it. I could see our goldfish here. I was sitting exactly where she sat. I was her, fully immersed. Didn't know that I looked like her as well. And everyone's like, she looks like an old woman. There was like 6 of us there. I'm shaking uncontrollably. My ankles were freezing. I knew I was hurt. And all I could hear was Tony's voice going, Amber, are you safe? Are you okay? Do you know where you are? Are you safe? And I was just like, yeah. And I knew I was her. And my partner was like, aye, whatever, until Tony sent me a voice note and was like, okay, that just fucking happened.
That did just happen.
Let's shut you down. Like, I think you need to do a little bit of, because I'm
usual.
Still very like new. I don't connect the spirit, and you're like,
this
you
was a few
really
years
need
ago
to
as well.
try. And
it was one of our first experiences, like
transfiguration. But I was just, my way to get through anything is just to mask things with humour. So I was like, oh, am I going to turn into Michael Jackson, a pure dead celebrity? Oh, what's going to happen? And then I was like, oh my God, I actually am my gran. So I feel like, yeah, we've all we all have the ability, but
absolutely.
I am sometimes just shut
she needs a wee bit of encouragement to get
so there. Randall's, you never know, I might turn into my gran. She loved the badass. Why not? I might. She did. She's always there.
I tell her if you're going and she'll come with.
Well, see, maybe that's
you've
got a wee sign there.
She's always trying to get through. Always trying to find a wee portal.
And then, is it your other gran, Sheila? She'll be there at the drowning pond where all our witchcraft.
That's right. Sweet. I went to Mugdock Park with her. That's right.
Yeah. See,
all the connections.
Loads of connections
tonight, David.
Synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
You come up to the drowning pond tonight.
Don't get too close to that, Jen.
I know, because he's scared you're going to get pulled in.
We want you to be here and listen to this episode. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been amazing.
And thanks so much for having us.
As always, you can find us at Tune to the Moon Pod on Instagram, TikTok. You are the Scottish Ghost Company on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Yes.
You will find them. Their videos are amazing. You will be addicted.
Yes.
And you'll just want to watch more and more and more. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.